Welcome back, David from Unqualified Critics, and thanks for joining us. I want to talk to you guys about something I saw very interesting on the AtGames Facebook fan page. They're asking the community for feedback on new hardware. Specifically, they're talking about options for folks who do not have enough space for the full-size AtGames Legends Ultimate Arcade that a lot of you love, and probably even more of you are just waiting to get your hands on one because they're so hard to find at retail. But specifically, one of the things they're asking about is should they build ALU AtGames Legends Ultimate internals designed to be plug and play into the Arcade1ups you already own. And they refer to Arcade1ups as 3/4 scale arcades, but of course we all know what they're talking about here. Now, before we go any further, I would just like to ask you, if you have not already and you enjoy this video or you've been enjoying the channel, to subscribe to Unqualified Critics. Each sub helps push us toward that 50K goal, and I really do super appreciate it. Now, back to the topic at hand. AtGames has a poll with 3 options. And the third option is basically just open for comments. Write in what you would like to see from AtGames for a smaller form factor. So let's really look at the first two. The first option is a mini AtGames Legends Ultimate, roughly the same size as Arcade1up, 3/4 scale. But their second option is the AtGames Legends Ultimate board, designed to be plug and play with the existing Arcade1ups that many of you already own. Do you want to turn your Arcade1up into a multicade? This would be a really good way to do it, in a way that's super easy if you just really want a plug and play option. Now, I've shared before my opinion on using Arcade1ups as multicade. I don't really think it's a great idea, but at the same time, I know not everybody has room for multiple cabinets or even a single AtGames Legends Ultimate, since they are a little bit bigger. And a lot of you, like me up until very recently, probably live in apartments. So those things just are not options. And I think this could actually be a very smart way for AtGames to leverage the existing very large user base of Arcade1up owners and cabinets. But based on how AtGames worded their post, it really sounds like the mini AtGames Legends Ultimate, the 3/4 scale Legends Ultimate, was their first choice. But the community has spoken loud and clear. Well over 3x as many respondents as of the time of this recording want a Legends Ultimate board that they can plug and play into the Arcade1ups they already have over a miniature AtGames Legends Ultimate cabinet. I don't know that I would have predicted that, but in hindsight, it makes a lot of sense. We know people are wanting to retrofit their Arcade1up to support more games. Not everyone, obviously. I know many of you commented that's not the case. But if you look at the forums and look on YouTube, you know that that's just a very large community. And who doesn't like leveraging the stuff they've already bought versus having to go out and buy a Legends Ultimate Mini and probably pay more than you would pay for just the board that you're going to plug into your existing arcade shells. Now, I would say it'd be interesting to see how AtGames would market this if they bring it to market. Obviously, they won't want to mention Arcade1up by name, so expect to see lots of talk of quote-unquote 3/4 scale cabinets as if there are multiple companies making those. I mean, again, we already know there's really just one company. Now, I did predict that AtGames would create new form factors this year to expand their platform and user base, get people out there using their subscriptions and actively using the AtGames Legends Ultimate. I think they're really positioning that as a platform alongside console, and their CEO has said as much. But I really expected something a little more conventional, like a bar top cabinet, which they don't mention here, which I think is kind of unusual. You would think that would be pretty high up on the list of obvious solutions, but they're also thinking outside of the box at the same time, which I can appreciate. Of these options provided, I think a board that plugs into an Arcade1up is probably the way to go.
Do you know the way?
My opinions on an Arcade1up multicade aside, the demand is just very clearly there. It's very clearly substantial, and it really leverages and productizes all of those clearance style Arcade1ups that many of you have found over the last 2 years. You know what I'm talking about, the $150 cabinets, but in some cases the $100 and even $75 cabinets. And don't forget about that chump guy that found a $30 cabinet and whose wife punked him into not buying it. So if you can buy the shelf for just rock bottom prices, plug in an AtGames Legends, that's an interesting way for AtGames to compete. Arcade1up is taking a lot of responsibility with all that shelf space they need for those large cabinets. And then AtGames swoops in once those get clearanced out at a low price, and they're going to sell you a high quality computer to run the whole cabinet. Honestly, it's kind of evil genius tier. Now, AtGames couldn't just provide a board and that's it. I would think they would need a custom AtGames Legends Ultimate control panel too, because a lot of the Arcade1ups just wouldn't work with many of the games that come on the ALU. And we know that this whole solution wouldn't be compatible with the Star Wars from Arcade1up because that control panel is angled for the yoke. It wouldn't make any sense to have any other kind of control scheme on that angled control panel. Could you imagine a joystick kind of jutting straight out at you? It would be weird. So again, it'll be interesting to see how AtGames Legends messages this. How do they message compatibility? If they don't want to mention Arcade1up by name, how do they talk about being compatible with some Arcade1ups but not others? It's really an interesting messaging challenge. And would this only be compatible with horizontal screen Arcade1ups? And those horizontal screens are proportioned differently than the ALU screen. So the whole thing is kind of interesting and presents some pretty interesting design challenge. It would almost be cool to see this product come to fruition because I just kind of want answers on these questions and I'd like to see how they end up handling these things. Now, they do mention this project would not be a distraction from production of the ALU. Whether that's true or not, who knows, but we do know they're working hard to bring more ALU cabs to the market, and we also know they're definitely feeling the heat from folks wanting to buy that cabinet, hence their statement on this post. I do hope they can get their supply chain sorted ASAP and get those cabinets into people's hands. So looking at this poll and asking how can we get AtGames Legends Ultimate into people with less space, into those smaller homes or apartments, what do you guys want to see? Do you want new form factors? Do you not care about any of this and you just really want pinball? Do you want a smaller cab? Do you want a tabletop like I've mentioned? Or do you really like this idea of a retrofit that's going to plug into an Arcade1up you already have? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit like, and we very much appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll talk to you real soon.